Welcome back to A Good Pour. I'm Kathryn Good. This is Conversations About Good Work. Today we are joined by Heather McCrosky. She is the CEO. Just owner?
Owner, CEO, Chief Marketing Officer,
all the
Chief
things.
Financial Officer.
She's the chief over here at Sign Gypsies Nashville. Welcome, Heather. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
So I met you, I don't know, like within the last 6 months, I feel like.
Yes, it was actually at a United Way breakfast.
Okay. We met at the United Way breakfast, which is usually in like, I don't know, October or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
And as soon as I met you, I was like, she has to be on the podcast. She just has good work and good energy just by existing. So I'm so excited you're here. I feel like we had followed each other on social media for a while and just sharing and liking and all the things, but it was nice to meet you in person. So tell me, so we've just talked about this, but I feel very official when I say that we were talking about this before we were on air. But you are also an event planner during the day.
Yes.
So event planner during the day, Sign Gypsy at night. You have all the energy, I think.
What? I like to say I run completely on caffeine and chaos.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's straight, because not only that, you add in the wife, you add in the mother. My mom lives with us as well. So we're blessed to have, her in the house with 3 dogs and,
Lots
the
of
zoo
chaos.
we have running. So it's for sure chaos. We're running constantly, but, I figure I can rest when I'm dead.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, tell me, so where did the idea of taking on Sign Gypsies come from?
Yeah, so we started, actually next week is our 7-year anniversary. Mind blowing, y'all. So basically, if you know me and have seen me on social media or have known me for any type of year, I love my birthday. Like, I love my birthday obsessively. And so I throw my own parties. I do a 30-day countdown. Love it.
Like, is it a birthday or birth month?
Well, it's a birth month.
Okay,
sure.
good.
Yeah, it's too much to count for the year. I can't do that. So 30 days, really 29, June 29th for anyone wanting to know. So when I was turning 40, I wanted to order one of these huge signs I'd seen on my cousin's social media. She had ordered them for years for her children. And I was like, oh, these are great. I'm going to put happy birthday to me in my front yard. So as I went to search, a few months out for my birthday, nobody offered these. You could find the wooden cutouts and some different things, but nobody offered these really cool happy birthday signs. So I told my girlfriend, I'm like, that's it. I'm starting this business. Like, this is so fun. People are going to love it. So she and I did a whole marketing plan. We were going to start our own company. We found a vendor for the signs, and we had everything kind of laid out, our budgets. I mean, you'd be proud. We did really well. And it just wasn't the right time. There were a lot of things happening, and we ended up waiting a little bit longer. I had my birthday.
Did you get signs for your birthday?
No signs for my birthday. Aww. That's okay. I went to New Orleans and celebrated with the theme of my youth had been stolen.
Oh.
Yeah. I themed my birthday every year.
I think I need to see pictures of that. But you gosh.
So my girlfriend that I went to college with had seen my photos online, and she's like, we reconnected basically. She said, hey, I'm getting ready to start this business. It's called Sign Gypsies. And I was like, well, wait, I am going to do that. So I told her my plan, and she's like, listen, you owe it to yourself. Check out this franchise. It's in the start, we just started, and I think you'd be perfect for it. She's like, the marketing support is there, the group support, I think you would love it. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And that was, I think, August of 2016. So fast forward, we started Sign Gypsies in April of 2017. So it happened to be the right time. First thing was a sign at school for teacher appreciation. We basically got our kit in that day. We were like out in the school putting it out. We grew the business a bit. It was kind of an education period. People didn't really know what that was. Very big in Texas. So the franchise started in Texas. We were 118th affiliate. Now they're over 800.
Wow.
So we really have grown thanks to COVID. So we really got to where we were doing, a handful of signs a month, but my partner and I both worked full time. So it worked fine. And then once COVID hit, it just exploded. We were so blessed, but also overwhelmed. Like, what is happening? We had, I think, grew our business to 20, 25 signs a month, which again was great.
Which means you're going out at night 20 to 25 times a night.
Right.
A month, not a night.
Month. Yeah. And working full time during the day and all the other things. So it was fine. And we would have 2 signs or 3 signs on a night and think, oh my gosh, we've got to get everything together. And we went into March of 2020 and we had 14 signs on the books, and we ended with 87
in March.
Oh, so right as everything was shutting down, people started calling us, and I then in turn started calling all my friends like, hey, remember that time you said you could help me?
Could you put some signs in your car?
Yeah.
And go stick them in a yard.
Yeah. And I was out delivering a birthday sign, and the mom came out and was like, oh, it looks great. And I was like, yeah, we're kind of crazy busy. And she's like, oh, my daughter would love to help you. And I said, great, have her call me. And so she called me a couple of days later, and she's like, yeah, when do you want me to start? I'm like, can you come over today? So we hired 5 people right off the bat. We literally started bumping our inventory because we had to wait for all the signs to come back in before they could go back out. So it was truly an experience. There's not much more I can say about that.
I mean, what was it about COVID? I mean, I know what it is, but we just wanted good things, right?
Yeah, to talk about good work, right?
Yeah.
It is what we do. But I think there were a couple of things. People were stuck inside, so they didn't know how to communicate big, right? They can't get together, but how can we show the love? How can we express our feelings? Oh, we can put these giant words in someone's yard. Perfect. Also, not that we're really expensive by any means. Our birthdays start at $99 plus tax, but people then had the opportunity they weren't having the party, then they could put money toward something else. Mm-hmm. So I think that was another dynamic. I think people really saw how cool it was too. Again, we were not out and about that much. Once we get into a neighborhood, people drive by and see it. Oh gosh, this is great. But then, the next neighborhood may have never seen it. It's still 7 years later. It's still impressive on how many first-time customers we have, as well as my friend told me about you, or I've never seen these before, or
really,
yes, it's crazy.
I mean, it's like your eyes are closed when you're driving. I mean, like they're kind of like yelling at you when you pass them.
Yeah. Maybe they're very focused. So it's a really interesting dynamic of the business on how we've started, how it's changed over the years, and how we're planning to move forward.
I love that. So one of the things when we were talking after that United Way breakfast, I learned, one, you have all of these signs in your garage.
Yes.
Hanging, although they are very organized. I love it. We might have to post a picture of this.
Oh, yeah.
But then also, like, there's new kits that come out all the time, like new symbols, which is also, I mean, like, as trends change or colors, like, so when's the last one come out and what did it include?
Oh my gosh. We have a conference every year. There's always a release then, but we have about 8 releases a year. So right now they're putting out Teacher Appreciation, Field Day, Father's Day, and I think there was something else included because Mother's Day was put out, in advance so that we have time to order them.
And so all the time, like, so there's individual, like, I mean, you told me, like, I think there's like a canoe, like, I mean, like,
Girl, we
all
have
of the things.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And I know people ask me, like, do you have a list? And I really feel like that is a great project for my son this summer. So it's really the way that we work the business is I tell people the form asks for, likes, activities, whatever. So if I love people to be detailed, and we try to accommodate and get creative with things. Because sometimes we may not have, we don't have trademarked items because, well, nobody wants to pay those fees to Disney or what have you. We have a few college that we do have all the proper licensing from. But
do you have UT?
We do have UT.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have UT, Ole Miss, Auburn, Florida State. We've done a lot of kind of SEC teams, but we also cannot get approval from like UK. There are some colleges that just either won't give the approval or want to charge a lot of money where it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So like for UK, we've got a sign that says I love cats and a paw print, and we'll put blue stars around.
Sure, that makes sense.
So we have a lot of inspired by items that we could do, but along with the trends, we just had a 70s party for our conference. So with that, there came disco balls and lots of kind of fun things to go along with that theme. And two of the items were like a male and a female like disco cutout. So somebody posted on our internal page the disco cutout with a guitar, and it looks like Taylor Swift. So, there's ways for us to be creative, even if we don't have that specific
when they
item.
do the form, I mean, I told you you just did my dad.
Yes.
So he's 75. And so it asks, like, what are their interests? And so the reason you want them to be detailed is you could find something, right? Like in all the things,
Absolutely.
I've said all the things like 15 times on this podcast. I do not know why, but
it is all
it's just yeah. Anyway, so much energy. So like for example, my son loves Legos, and you don't have a Lego necessarily.
They are building blocks.
So they have building blocks, but I probably did not even think I mean, he's 16. He may not want to let a building block in his front yard, but that's the idea is to put some of those things that, they're interested in their favorite colors, and then you can.
Absolutely.
Now, so if someone says they're interested in, I don't know, princesses, I mean, that's probably easy. But like, so you don't have a list at all of, or do you know? Like you just know?
Weirdly, yes. It's kind of like when you work in a restaurant, your menu back and forth. So I know my inventory. After 7 years and you purchase things, it's just like, oh yeah, we have that. Oh, nope. Either we don't have it, or because I don't even buy all the items that are out there.
So it's like a catalog of what's available, and then you choose if you feel like it'll be good for your
Exactly.
inventory.
There's a water polo ball. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But I did finally get lacrosse sticks because
seems to be real big right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, they even came out with anime eyes, and there's just opportunities to be able to create something special for pretty much anyone.
So what is the most unique occasion you have done? I mean, you've got teacher appreciation and birthdays and anniversaries and probably getting accepted into school. Anything else?
Graduation coming up is huge. And I will just say, I don't know when this is going to post, but if you have not placed your graduation order, get it in because we are almost sold out May 18th.
Wow.
That weekend. So, and we sell out every year, which again is a blessing, but we get to help a lot of people celebrate. For random types of things, you talk about birthdays. We have done heavenly birthdays. So we've done them not only at homes, but even at the gravesite. Lots of celebration of life.
Yeah.
Vacation Bible schools.
Yeah.
We've done consignment sales here in town, or any type of fundraiser, like selling a mattress that the school's doing for one day. We also have done like vintage. Someone had like a murder mystery vintage party.
Oh.
So we can do theme parties. So again, building the advantage is that we can take every letter individually. So we really can't say anything that's nice. Yeah. We've had some requests for some unsavory type of messages, which, our mission is to spread joy. So we don't want to put a sign in the neighbor's yard that's not very nice. So
I would really like to hear you explain, this is not going to work for us. Sorry.
Yes. But, there's also been learning opportunities as we've gone through the business. There are, of course, we always ask before we add alcohol graphics. You would think a 21 birthday would be like, yeah, throw it all in there. Not the case.
Sure, that makes sense.
We have, the hard way, my first graduation, it was a doctor, congrats, doctor, last name. And so we put a stethoscope out there. It was the doctor of education. Yeah, learned that the hard way.
Oh, that's
this one, we had a 90-year-old birthday, and not to be close-minded at all, but I put a cross out because old ladies, and I just think of, people loving Jesus, and she was Jewish. So they were very nice in telling me to come get the cross. But you learn things, and then you learn to ask as you move forward.
You put more questions on that form, huh?
Yes. So
sorry, you're going to have to cut out my laughing.
So you probably need to cut that whole thing out.
Stay.
Oh my God. So yeah, you definitely. I do say I take a very personal approach to all of my orders. If the request comes in and it is a 7-year-old with all their details, that's not, that's great. Thank you so much. But if it is a milestone birthday or an adult or something that doesn't have an age, I write back with all the questions. And not only just, if it's a 50th birthday, normally if we have the inventory, we'll say, hey, do you want to do something more like 50 and Fabulous, or, personalize it even more. They love golf. Hey, it's time to party. So we can theme it out based on some of those things too.
Love that. So creative.
Yeah.
Creative.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So how do you maintain these two jobs?
Well, I think it,
besides the caffeine and just running on chaos, but
yeah, for sure. Sometimes I fall on my face and I have missed some orders, which is unfortunate. But I always reach out to those folks and apologize and just kind of hopefully get some grace and tell them how crazy my life is. But it really is just working a lot. I get home from the day job, I switch hats, and I'm answering invoices and emails or sending invoices, and then I'm downstairs pulling signs. I do have some helpers, thank goodness, that are just amazing. And they go out and do the evening thing, so maybe I can work as well.
Yeah.
But, support a family, key. I talked about my mom living with me. Gosh, if she wasn't there to help with Carter, because he's not driving yet, he's 15. Yeah. But, I need an extra person. My husband owns his own company, so it's, we're always running around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lack of sleep, basically. There's so much video that goes out on this. But it's the love of what I do that really makes it possible.
How did you know? I mean, you have event planning, which is really, giving people joy too, right? When you're planning events, making sure people are taken care of. And then you've added on a whole another business with a mission to spread joy in itself.
Yeah.
What were you like kind of when you were picking your careers?
So this will not be a surprise. Through college, in high school, I'm a 90s high schooler. I was going to be the marine biologist, swimming with dolphins.
When did that end? When did that dream end?
Sophomore year, when I discovered how hard chemistry and calculus were.
Yep.
Yeah. Did great in biology, but did not have that side of the brain for the other things. So I switched to marketing. My GPA skyrocketed, and it wasn't all through college. I held.
That's not to say marketing is is easier.
No. I just don't have that side of the brain.
That's right.
So I'm not a math or science of chemistry kind of person.
Yep.
I had multiple jobs in college. Again, not a surprise because I apparently love to be busy. So I worked as a security guard at the arena so that I could see all the concerts that were coming in. That was the whole reason. I worked in retail, learned real fast. That wasn't for me because I bought too much. And then
You talk too much?
That I do talk a lot.
Oh, I thought you said
I bought too much.
You bought too much. Okay.
Yes, I love to shop. I worked for a promotion company where we did a lot of, outside promotions. And in my senior year of college, my professor was having one-on-ones and said, what do you want to do with your career? What do you think? And I said, well, just out of ease, right? I'll probably go into this promotion company. They were hiring a manager and it just kind of made sense. I had some experience with them. And she's like, you really should look at event planning or meeting planning or party planning. Like, I think you would be very good at that. And I was like, oh, well, I do love to party. I do love to plan things. Okay, this sounds great. So I decided, well, clearly that's what I should do. So I walked into the New Orleans Convention Center. I went to the University of New Orleans for college and walked in the convention center. This is, when everything was open, and I found my way into the director of HR's office, and I had my resume in hand and just started chatting with them.
Wow.
And, God has placed me in every position in my life. There has been a plan and this journey, and it started way before, but it certainly started in these opportunities from my jobs. But ended up working there for 7 years until Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, wow.
And then we ended up moving to Nashville. At first, when the storm came, I told my husband we were staying with my parents in Kentucky because that's where I grew up, but moved to New Orleans for college, there for 11 years. And my husband is born and raised from New Orleans.
Seems very on brand for you by the way, that you went to New Orleans and then you stayed there a while.
I like to say that I have glitter and champagne in my veins.
I love it.
So when the storm came, we went to my parents in Kentucky and we saw the devastation, and we saw, we didn't get to see our house, but we lived across from City Park where they had a football stadium. They still have it. And they did a flyover. And in the football stadium, the water was over the goalpost, over the tee of the goalpost. And we lived across the street. So we knew at that point, like, it was from the levees breaking, not from the wind.
Right.
So I told my husband, I was like, well, we looked at different places to live. We came to Nashville in 2000 on vacation because we'll check it out. Maybe it's a fun place to live, and we love the outdoors. We love country music. I remember walking around Opryland saying, I could probably work here one day. And that was in 2000. So 2005, I said, we've talked about it. I see we were not going to have a house. We rented. We didn't own, thank goodness. And then you saw the devastation from the convention center. That became a second ground zero. And I still had coworkers that were there. Wow. So it was horrible to watch. But I knew I wasn't going to have a job, basically, is where I landed. And I told him, let's just move. We talked about it. Let's go. And he was like, absolutely not. We're staying here. We're staying in New Orleans. Okay, great. So he went 3 weeks after the storm down to New Orleans to see what kind of damage, anything to salvage. His parents lived there, so they went, and they only had roof damage. So they started to re-roof the house. Hurricane Rita came. So they did a mandatory evacuation of the city again. And on their way out of town, he called me, and it was a Friday, and he's like, all right, do you still want to move? Yeah, I do. Yep. And so he's like, all right, I'll come get you. So he came from New Orleans, got me in Kentucky. We drove down to Nashville, and it just, again, the good work. We had so many people that just, their hearts went out to anybody, and any tragedy this happens. And we were just blessed to have people reach out to say, hey, you want to stay at our house while you come to Nashville and look at things? And hey, we can drive you around to look for apartments or houses or whatever. And just all, again, God's plan. So we drove down. I called a bunch of places to look for jobs and tell them I was in town. I'd love to talk to someone. The only place to say, yeah, we'll talk to you was Opryland.
Really?
And so we drove around all day that day. Then I went to Opryland that next morning, and I filled out the application. Again, this is 2005. So this is when you would go in and put it on the computer. And she said, okay, thank you so much. And I was like, she's like, we'll be in touch. And I said, oh, right. So someone said they would talk to me. Like, I'd really, love it. And she goes, oh, that's really not how we do it here. But, we'll be in touch. And I kind of pleaded my case. And she's like, okay, who did you talk to? And so, of course, I told her. That's why it's important to document things. And that turned into a 3-hour interview with the director of the department. They had a position open. Needless to say,
I just love that story. I mean, I love a bold personality and ask for what you want anyway, but how cool. I mean, you kept pressing, and then you have a job. That is amazing. Just sometimes we just have to ask the extra question, right?
We do. And that's turned into an amazing career in hospitality. And you're right. I love taking care of people. I like to say I'm an addicted people pleaser because, sometimes to my demise. So I really have to work on that. I'm not very good at setting boundaries. So it rolls right into Sign Gypsies, taking care of people, exceeding expectations, discover and delight. You really want to make it special because this is a memory. It becomes a core memory they're going to have forever.
Yeah, love it. And kudos to your college counselor.
Right?
I mean, talk about good work. And she didn't have to say that.
No.
And it has shaped your entire career. I love that.
Yes.
All right. So what does good work mean to you?
I think that good work is all those things we said. It's spreading kindness. It's spreading joy. It's, to be blatantly honest, spreading the love of Jesus. I mean, we're sending a message out to people, and we want things to make people feel special. I want to make a difference in someone's life. And I think, with the business I have, it's become very apparent that it's not, I don't want to say easy to do, but it's something I want to do, and it fills my cup.
Yeah.
It's my passion.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do for this community. I mean, I definitely watched it during COVID just blow up. And I was like, I don't know who owns Sign Gypsies, but they are happy. But you've just kept going, and it's just so fun every time I see it. Now that I know you, kind of the woman behind the signs, and I just appreciate all you do, both in your day job and your night job, to spread joy in Nashville, in here, all over. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.